Fuck, this is already hard. I'm not used to on the spot. I'm used to script writing. Fuck! Basically, what we're going to be doing is I have a shit ton of hours on Resident Evil 4 Remake and in 4 in general. I have a lot of knowledge of the game. I'm going to actually give as helpful information as I possibly can about each weapon. And you're going to see that apart from other tier lists, there's no meme tier. Because I genuinely think that every weapon has its own purpose. I'm having a rough time with the intro. Let's just get into it. Anyway, first off, what we're going to do, all the knives. All of them, every single one. We're just going to get them all out of the way. Okay, so for me, voice crack, for me, all of the knives in Resident Evil 4 Remake are specifically designed for, as far as knives go in Resident Evil 4 Remake, I feel like they're all really bad offensively, but really good defensively, which means they're suited for only one specific type of playstyle, which is to never use your knife except for parries only. Sometimes stealth kills are pretty valuable, but most of the time, you really just do not want to wear down your knife durability. And you can kind of see it with every player that has ever played it. Every single time we go to the merchant, what are you doing? You're repairing the knife. Every single time. It doesn't matter if you don't have the money, if you do have the money. You're selling something so that you can get that knife durability up. Let's see how Leon thinks.
Well, partner, I'd rate the effectiveness of knives in the Resident Evil 4 Remake at about a 7.
Oh.
They're handy for close quarters combat and can save your skin when you're in a tight spot. Just remember to use them wisely and conserve that precious ammo, women.
The knives don't have an ammo mechanic, but I guess you could think of it like that. So Leon seems to think pretty highly of the knives. On to the first actual weapon though. Blacktail. Easy A. Okay, hold on. A lot of people, especially with Resident Evil 4 Remake now, will basically say anything that isn't the Red 9 or doesn't have a laser sight is useless, which means Blacktail. Not so. Blacktail has some of the best DPS in the fucking game. Well, for a handgun, I should say. Insanely good. And you think the bullet spread would be, a hindrance to it? It's not, because it's really small. Okay. So the reason why you would want laser sights is not just because 100% accuracy. It's because you have 100% focus. Which for some pistols, which we'll get to later, is actually incredible because focus raises damage and crit rate. However, Blacktail, you don't need focus. You really don't need focus. Let's see what Leon thinks.
The Blacktail handgun? Now that's a reliable piece of hardware, partner.
Hell yeah.
I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's got a fast fire rate, good accuracy, and it can really pack a punch when upgraded. Just make sure to manage your resources and keep it loaded, women.
Okay, Leon. So he thinks the Blacktail is a good 8 out of 10. Which is pretty fine. It's only one off on where I would put it. So he's saying it's about B tier, which is pretty good, all things considered. Even Leon thinks so. So, up next is the crossbow. Crossbow, it's more useless than the knives, man. It has its fans. My friend really likes it because you get to conserve ammo. It's stealthy. If you want to take a slower approach to the game, it's really good. But at the same time, it has really low damage. Really low damage. You got to commit pretty hard into its resources. And you have to go and pick up everything. If you don't want to play slow and methodical, and you just want to go in guns a-blazing because that's the fastest thing, you're not going to like the crossbow. It's really out there for one specific playstyle and a few specific people. Let's see what Leon thinks.
The bolt crossbow. It's a useful tool, especially for crowd control and taking down tougher foes.
What?
I'd rate it a solid 9 out of 10. Can be a real lifesaver. But you'll need to be accurate with your shots and manage your bolts carefully, partner.
Oh, I mean, he got it half right. So Leon thinks that this is A tier, which, no, it's not. Anyway, Broken Butterfly. I'm probably going to say this for a lot of the magnums, but C tier, you can't really find magnum ammo out in the wild, not too often. And magnum ammo is really hard to craft, especially when resources don't drop nearly as much as you think they would. having a magnum in your inventory is a huge, huge commitment, and you're never really going to be using it except for very high priority targets or boss battles. Like, that's it. You're not going to be using it in regular play because you have an overabundance of ammo. It's just, that's not how that works. But what about you, Leon? How do you view it?
The broken butterfly, partner. It's a beast of a magnum and one of my personal favorites. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. It's got tremendous firepower, and if you manage your shots well, it can take down almost anything in one hit. Just remember to make every shot count, women.
I don't know why he's so hyper fixated on saying women. He seems to think pretty highly of the broken butterfly. As he's heard, it's one of his personal favorites. I'm not going to argue with him too much. A lot of people will probably get in this mindset of Magnum good. Although, I'm starting to see a trend that he's about to place everything super, super high. I don't think there's going to be a weapon he dislikes here. Chicago typewriter. Again, I'm just going to say C tier. Why? Because it's a post-game weapon. Obviously, if you could get this early enough, put it a S, because infinite ammo. But even with infinite ammo, I feel like it's still outclassed by the TMP. I really do. You're never really hurting for SMG ammo at any point in the game. It's not that hard to keep the TMP topped up. And even if you could get it early on, I might honestly put it back down to a B instead of an S. Because you're not getting that infinite ammo that fast. It only has about moderate damage. Its spread is still pretty bad. It's an okay weapon with infinite ammo. And if infinite ammo wasn't nearly as precious as it was, I think a lot of people would start seeing it my way, where it's just middle of the road. What about Leon?
The Chicago typewriter. Now that's a real treat, partner. It's like a symphony of firepower. I'd rate it a perfect 10 out of 10. With unlimited ammo and rapid fire, it's a game changer. Just don't get too trigger happy, or you might run out of targets, women.
So, he views it exactly how I said a lot of people would get hyper fixated on. It's just the unlimited ammo part. So, big difference so far in our tier lists. This thing, the M4 sniper rifle, the fully automatic thing, this one's a D. It's not that bad to the point where it's an E. But the only time this shines is specifically post-game when you get the cat ears for infinite ammo. Because this thing eats rifle ammo, and rifle ammo is actually pretty plentiful, but not enough to sustain this thing. Just not enough. It is not worth the ammo sink into this. You will run out of ammo so fast, and you'll wish you've never used this weapon. What about you, Leon?
Well, partner, that fully automatic sniper sounds like a mean piece of hardware. It's always good to have options when dealing with the infected hordes. If it's accurate and has decent firepower, it could be a valuable addition to your arsenal. Just make sure you've got enough rifle ammo to keep it going, women.
Okay, Leon, but I need you to rate it. Can you please rate it for me?
My apologies, partner. If I had to rate that new fully automatic sniper, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Really?
It sounds promising, but I'd need to get my hands on it and put it through its paces to give you a more definitive answer, women.
But you have experience. Okay, well, he says it's an 8. I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty low 8 then, huh? Alright, headcanon. This is probably going to go C as well. Without infinite ammo, it's kind of the same thing as the actual magnums. With infinite ammo, I would say it's actually obviously S with unlimited ammo. But if it doesn't, then it's C. It's also a post-game weapon, so you're not even going to be using it in a real playthrough. But even if you did, again, it's one of those... It's kind of like the typewriter where getting unlimited ammo would be a huge sink, and you're not going to be getting it to the late game anyway, so... Leon, what do you think about it, bud?
The hand cannon. Now that's a real heavy hitter, partner. I'd rate it a perfect 10 out of 10. It's a reward for your hard work post-game, and it packs a punch like no other. Just be ready to manage your shots wisely, because ammo for this beast is scarce, women.
Why? Leon, why are you yelling so much? Anyway, he says it's a perfect 10 out of 10. An easy S tier in his eyes. So, Killer 7, I feel like it's not too much of a surprise. I'm actually giving it a B tier. Holy fuck, it's a Magnum that gets B. The main thing about the Killer 7 is that when you fully upgrade it, it upgrades its crit rate by ×5. I don't know why it needs that, but it does mean that you get guaranteed one-shots on a lot of high-priority targets, so long as you get the crit. And even without the crit, it handles way better than the other two Magnums that we just discussed. What about you, Leon?
The Killer 7? It's a unique piece, partner. I'd rate it a solid 8 out of 10. The hallucinations from PTSD can make things even more challenging. Gotta stay sharp and focused through the madness, women.
Okay. Our dear poor Leon is, he's having some PTSD flashbacks. Not a surprise, he rates it an 8. Whip-de-doo. Everything is like C or above for him. MP5. MP5, great weapon. The only complaint I have is that the TMP is better. But the MP5 is a solid choice. It's basically the Punisher, but on steroids. It's kind of amazing. Actually, also, I don't know if it's called the MP5. It's just modeled after one. What do you think, Leon?
The new MP5, huh? If it can penetrate shields and armor, it's certainly a valuable asset, partner. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10.
A 9?
Dealing with these creatures can be tricky, but having the right tools makes all the difference. Even if you're seeing things that might not be there, women.
The Matilda. The Matilda, I think, is also a C tier. It's one of those weapons where it's like, it's got mad DPS, but it eats your ammo a lot. Now, if you have the ammo to feed this thing, like I said, it's really good. It has one of the higher DPS. I'm assuming more higher than the Blacktail. But it is just not an all-rounder. What does Leon think, though?
The Matilda, my old signature weapon. It holds a special place in my heart, partner. But it's not without its drawbacks. I'd rate it a 7 out of 10. It may have a burst fire mode, but it lacks the power and accuracy of some of the other firearms I've come across. Still, it's a reliable choice when you're in a tight spot and trying to conserve ammo. Women.
Punisher. I think the Punisher back in like RE4 original was like down here. In the remake, it's up here. It's pretty much on par with the MP5. If you're in the castle and there's a bunch of shielded enemies, this thing cleans up like no other. This weapon shines in the castle. It is incredible for very specific reasons, but even outside of those specific reasons, it has pretty decent damage. It gets access to the laser sight, so you have constant max focus and max crit rate. So people will play it down and be like, oh, it's a meme tier weapon because it has that one specific niche, but it's incredibly useful and it's reliable. So what do you think, Leon?
The Punisher? Now that's a versatile piece of firepower, partner. I'd rate it a solid 9 out of 10. Its ability to penetrate multiple targets and shields is a real advantage. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish reality from the horrors of the past. Women.
Red 9. Okay. Red 9 lovers. This is going to be a love it or hate it moment. It's not a good weapon. I mean, it is because it's B tier, but it's not the easy S that everyone thinks it is. Look, if you're looking at it from when you first get it to fully upgraded, when you first get it, it is the worst weapon, and when you get it, it is an okay weapon. It's like, yes, you can two-shot a lot of the village enemies. You can reliably one-shot and headshot, one-shot body shot the castle enemies. And it does really high damage, which means high damage equals high conservation. But the entire journey of having it and upgrading it is awful. I would rather have any other pistol. Well, let's see what Leon thinks. Apparently his tier list is for the people. Because so far, his philosophy is that there is no bad weapon.
The Red 9, huh? It's a classic, partner. and packs quite a punch. I'd rate it a solid 8 out of 10. It's got power and accuracy, but it can be a bit slow on the draw. There's this one recurring vision of the villagers chasing me with their sinister chants. It's like a never-ending nightmare that keeps me on edge, women.
Alright, Leon. I don't know what to say about that one, Chief. But I just hope you're doing okay, man. Okay? Anyway. This shotgun. I think it's called the Riot gun. S tier. They kind of did a remake. Nah. Yes. They did a remake. They remade a lot of the weapons, specifically the shotguns. In RE4 original, I would say every shotgun has its own little niche. But the moment you get the striker, nothing else matters. In the remake, all the shotguns, I would say, are all viable in their own ways. But I truly do think that the Riot gun is the definitive best shotgun in the game. Because of its tight spread, you can easily just gun down high priority targets. While at the same time, if you're at about a medium distance, you can still deal with crowds of enemies. You don't need high spread to do everything for you. What do you think, Leon? What do you think about the Riot gun?
The Riot gun, partner? It's a reliable shotgun with good spread and firepower. I'd rate it a strong 8 out of 10. It's a great crowd control weapon, especially when those hallucinations start making me feel like I'm surrounded by infected villagers all over again. Women.
Okay, well, he seems to think it's pretty good too. RPG. Yeah. Look, it's a single-use boss skip that is extremely expensive. Realistically, you're never gonna buy the RPG until you hit Saddler. That's just it. You're never gonna use it until you get unlimited ammo. What do you think, Leon?
The RPG! Well, it's a game changer when you need to deal with tough opponents. I'd rate it a perfect 10 out of 10, but now, with snipers on our tail, things just got a whole lot more intense, partner. Thanks for the kind words. I'll do my best to keep us safe through this, even with those hallucinations haunting my every step. Women.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is the Sentinel 9. We're gonna bump this up to an A tier. It is basically just the standard pistol, but worse. Slightly worse. Very slightly. What do you think, Leon?
The Sentinel 9, huh? A new addition to the arsenal, partner? I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. A good pistol is always handy, but with those snipers watching, we best not make any mistakes. We'll push through this. Just a few more ratings to go. And hopefully, those snipers will keep their distance. Women.
Leon. A. What the fuck are you on about? B. The whole point of snipers is to keep their distance. Standard handgun, obviously, S tier. It is the best handgun in the game. By far. I want to say my personal favorite is probably the Blacktail. It's the one I've spent the most time with. But your standard handgun, even in the original, was the best. So, but what makes it the best? When you fully upgrade it and get a laser sight, it is a crit machine.
The standard handgun you start the game with, partner. Well, it's a decent sidearm. I'd rate it a 6 out of 10.
Whoa.
It gets the job done, but as the game goes on, you'll definitely want to upgrade to something more potent.
Oh, come on.
As for what I've been saying, it's those hallucinations getting to me. You know how traumatic those past adventures were. It's like I'm reliving it all over again. But I appreciate your concern, bud. We'll get through this together. Just a few more ratings to go, women.
Alright, one of the new shotguns, the lever action thingy. It's okay. I've seen a lot of hype for the shotgun. I've seen that a lot of people think really highly of it. I think it's just okay. What about you, Leon?
The new lever action shotgun, huh? Sounds like a handy addition to the arsenal. I'd rate it a solid 8 out of 10, especially if it's compact and versatile. From dealing with the zombie outbreak in Raccoon City, to surviving Los Illuminados and facing bioterrorism worldwide. It's been one wild ride. But let's save the stories for another time, partner. We've got some ratings to finish up, women.
Yeah, we do, Leon. I'm worried about you. The bolt action sniper. I think it's A tier. It's borderline S. A lot of people put in S. It's the definitive best sniper in the game. Something that a lot of people have been doing now is starting to pause buffer so that you get 100% accuracy shots. But if you play the game legit and you don't pause buffer, even though it's a legitimate strategy, if you don't pause buffer, if you miss with this, you are standing there doing nothing for like a second and a half. And that second and a half is just enough to be hit. But at the same time, you cannot deny its power. It is the most powerful sniper in the game. Maybe not the most DPS, that's where the assault rifle comes in, but it is definitely the highest damage per shot, especially if you hit a weak point. Holy fuck. What about you, Leon? How do you think about the sniper?
The bolt action sniper, huh? A good precision tool. I'd rate it a solid 9 out of 10.
A 9?
It's essential for those long-range shots. I appreciate your concern, partner. These hallucinations have been a challenge, but we'll push through. Just a few more ratings to go, women.
Yeah, Leon. I'm starting to see the fatigue. I've been doing this for an hour now. I see that the fatigue is getting to you as well. Anyway, Striker Shotgun. I think, no surprise, D tier. It's not bad. Really high damage, really good capacity, really good fire rate. However, its spread is a bit of an issue. There have been like multiple times where I have actually taken a shot and all of the pellets would go all the way to the left and all the way to the right, and none of them would hit in the middle. That's how bad the spread is. That is how terrible it is. But, as we all know from RE4 Original, this is Leon's favorite shotgun. Let's see what he thinks.
The Striker!
Oh.
My favorite shotgun. It's a fantastic piece of weaponry, partner. I'd rate it a solid 9 out of 10. Its capacity and firepower make it a real powerhouse. And as for those zombies, whether they're real or in my head, we'll stay on guard and make sure we're ready for whatever comes our way. Women.
My guy, are you okay? So, I believe it's called the Stingray, but the semi-automatic, I think that's also an A tier. Oh, not above that though. I honestly, I think these are about equal. They are both just powerful enough to get over a lot of certain health thresholds to one-shot a lot of things. But the Stingray does have a slight ammo consumption issue, kind of like the Matilda, where it's really good in certain aspects, and it's really high damage, but at the same time, it eats up all your ammo if you're not careful. It's good. What about you, Leon?
The Stingray, huh? Sounds like an interesting addition. I'd rate it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Now, about those zombies, partner. We've got to focus and finish these last 2 ratings so we can deal with them. Let's see it through. Just 2 more guns to go, women.
Anyway, TMP. If you've been actually watching the video and you've been listening up to a lot of the machine guns, the MP5 and typewriter, I think TMP is S tier. I think it is definitively like the best machine gun in the game, assuming that you don't have infinite ammo. What about you, Leon?
The TMP, a handy submachine gun. I'd rate it a solid 7 out of 10. Now, about those hallucinations and mushrooms, it's hard to say. The T-virus can have strange effects, but we need to stay sharp. Just 1 more rating to go, partner, and then we can handle these challenges together, women.
I'm feeling fatigued at this point in time, but A tier. I want to say it is borderline S tier, but I still think the Riot gun is just that good. This shotgun is basically just a magnum in disguise. It just is. It hits so ridiculously hard in this game for like no reason. It does not have to be as strong as it is, but dear God. Alright, Leon. This has been a wild ride, but what do you think about the basic shotgun?
The standard shotgun from the beginning village fight? It's a classic, partner. I'd rate it a 7 out of 10. It's reliable and can get you through some tough spots. Now, let's deal with these challenges together. I appreciate your support, bud, and we'll get through this, women.
Well, his tier list is definitely way more different from mine. Mine, I feel like, is a little bit more well-rounded and a little bit more truthful to how the guns themselves actually play. His is just the people's. His is the people's tier list. He is not upsetting anyone. He is just like, everything is viable. Everything deserves at least a 6. That's the tier list done. Leon, what do you have to say?
Well, to all the fans out there, I want to thank you for joining us in this little adventure. It's been a wild ride, and we've raided all the weapons from the game. Now, as for these zombies, I'm going in guns blazing, and you can be sure I'll give them hell. Stay tuned for more action. And remember, it's not about the weapons. It's about how you use them. Take care out there, folks, and see you on the other side, women.